Hey guys, how you doing? It's Damian here. This is the hashtag Ask Damo show where I get to answer your questions about anything to do with the music industry, be it a musician, social media, business. You ask questions and I'll do my best to answer them. So today I'm on my own because Melissa she's not very well. She's got tonsillitis. So Melissa, hopefully you're watching and hopefully you'll get better soon. And next week we need you back, but she's not here. But in the words of the great Freddie Mercury, the show must go on. Professional singer, don't you know? Also, I want to give a massive shout out to one of our musicians with DK, who this week fell out of a 3rd story window and is not very well. And he fell off a balcony from the 3rd floor, and he said he fell asleep as he hit the floor. And when he woke up, they were snapping his arm back into place. So Nathan, big love buddy up in Newcastle, and hopefully you'll be back on the scene soon. But before we do start the show, this is a really, really important point. Musicians, if you are making a living or working towards making a living as a musician, you really need to look into some kind of insurance. And it's just a way that if something does happen like this, that you're covered. So, you know, if you're a teacher, if you're a session musician, if you're playing covers bands, if you're literally a self-employed musician, looking at insurance that can cover you so that if you are out for a long period of time, you won't struggle for money, because then the panic sets in. Where's the money going to come from? How can you make money with a broken arm? So it's something that musicians don't like to think about and hope for the best. But if you are thinking about your career as 50 years, if you're 20 years old and you're going to retire when you're 70, 50 years, as horrible as it is, and you know I like to say it as it is, something's going to happen in the next 50 years. It could be a broken arm, it could be a broken foot, it could be falling out of a 3rd story window like a bit of an idiot, but something could happen. So please just look into some kind of insurance. And there's a few companies out there. Just stick in self-employed musicians insurance and you'll get a bunch of ideas that'll come up. Anyway, so big love to Nathan, and on with the show. So, have we got any presents this week? Thanks. I love presents. This is cool. So, as you know, I say this every week, but our wall is getting busier. We've got a Fury On t-shirt up on the wall. We've got Gorilla Riot beer, that's pretty cool. We've got Alter Ego mugs. We've got Omnibus stickers. Oh, we've still got the same Name That Film, which we had last week, which someone did. Mithra, awesome pictures. So if you want to send something in, then I'll get the details below, and it will go on our wall and be immortalized for all time. But I love stuff. Suffer No Fools. Oh, this is new to me. I like this. Let's check out the t-shirt. Oh wow, this is going to be on a wall. This is not going to be on a wall. This is going to be on my fat stomach. Look at that. That is mondo cool. I like that a lot. In fact, I'm going to be wearing that later when I get out of this shirt because I'm looking quite dapper. So yeah, thank you very much. I will be putting links to them. I will be checking you guys out. Facebook.com/suffernofools, www.sufferNoFools.bandcamp.com. I will absolutely be listening to this and I'll be sending you a message today and to say thank you, and also see if I can help in any way. I'll be immortalizing this somewhere on the wall, possibly somewhere around here, maybe a t-shirt over there. I will be doing that. Thank you very, very much. I will get your link in this bio, and if you fancy getting any music on any of my blogs, then do it. And anyone else who want to send some stuff in, do that. Right, on with the show. I'm reading the questions and answering them. I'm a fucking one-man machine. Let's get started. Right, question 1. What's the best way for a covers band to get on an agency's books? Greg Woodard. Greg, that is a very good question. And let me start by saying, what I see all of the time from bands putting together, from musicians putting together functions bands, is they always look around at what everybody else is doing and then they do it exactly the same. And it bores the shit out of me. Because there's just so much noise, and you hear me say that a lot, this idea of noise, which means everyone's doing something. So in order to cut through, it's very difficult. Now with covers bands, it's been a very similar thing for about 10 years, since the crash in 2008. And now on every massive agency all over the country, probably all over the world, is the same band, effectively, times by 500 bands. So if you want to cut through the agency, there's a couple of things that you've got to do. Number one, you've got to make your product not just good, that's just obvious, but you've got to make it slightly different, something that's going to stand out. So the way you do that is usually your marketing, and I would suggest having a song or songs which are a little bit different. So when you are a covers band, yes, you are going to play all the usual stuff. Yes, you're probably going to play Uptown Funk. Yes, you're probably going to play Mr. Brightside. But why not market a couple of different songs? Why not have a bit of a niche? You don't want a niche which is so crazy niche that you can't bring in depth if someone's ill or if someone hurts themselves. But you want a bit of a niche, something that makes you maybe a bit heavier, maybe a bit more nostalgic. Nostalgia is huge in covers bands. Maybe a bit more 90s, maybe a bit more R&B, garage. Just having a couple of songs in there where you just say, we have this section which is different to everybody else, because that makes the agencies think, oh, that's a bit different. That's something we haven't got. Now, after that, yes, you're going to need to have marketing, because that's just the state of play. You're going to need to have at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 videos. That's going to cost a bit of money to get them done properly, but you can do them yourself, but they do need to be good quality. A professional photo shoot, yes. You're going to need your set list, all that kind of sorted. You need a PA, etc. But here's the big thing. Agents, people who work in agencies, they're people, okay? And just like me and you, we like interesting things. We like interesting stories. And also, we like favors. We like nice people. We like people to do things for us. So in an agency, there is going to be an agent, or lots of them, sat and at their desk, and I know this because I'm at one a lot, there is someone sat at their desk with a computer, a phone, and that's it, and a cup of tea. And that is it. Literally, that's their life. And they're answering phones, they're getting inquiries, they're dealing with emails, and bands are coming through all the time. Now, if you take an agency like Warble, which is the Warble Entertainment, which is the agency that we use, I'm a director of. Now, as a company, Warble, can you imagine how many demos are coming through to them on a day-to-day basis? Like day-to-day basis. A lot. If you go on there, they've got 2 YouTube channels, both with over 2,000 videos on. And that's just the ones they choose to put on their YouTube. Can you imagine how much comes through on a daily basis? And can you imagine how much is the same old stuff? A band going, oh, do you know what we should do? We should do a Bruno Mars cover. Oh, do you know what we should do? We should do an Ed Sheeran cover. And it's like, yeah, you're missing the boat with these agencies, because if you want to get in, then you've got to get out of what I call the middle. You've got to get out of doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. So all of a sudden, you're an agent, you're sat there, some stuff comes through, and it is something nostalgic, something they've not seen before, something a bit creative and something a bit different. The first thing they think is, oh, that's cool, I've not seen that before. It's not the same old. Then what happens? The phone rings and someone says, looking for a band for my party. They're going to be thinking, oh, dude, because they're human. You've got to see this. I saw this today. This is brilliant. This is a band that sent me this stuff through, and it's this song, which I've not heard before. They are literally conveying their enthusiasm for what they've seen down the phone to that client. And that's what you need, a salesperson who is enthusiastic. So how do you make the agents enthusiastic about you and your band? Well, there's many things that you can do. Number 1, you can do something different. Number 2, you can do something better. Number 3, you can schmooze agents. You can do what everyone does at the beginning, and you can say, look, what do we need to do to get on your books? A bunch of free gigs? Do we need to come up and do some playing for you there? Shall we put on a gig and invite you down? What is it that we can do that brings you value? Now, what is it that brings agents value is a band in an area that does something different, that adds to their roster that they don't have. So you've got to be smarter than what I call the middle. And that is, let's just go and have a look at the same old songs, and let's do something from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the noughties, and there's something for your gran and something for young people. yes, you can do that, but it's not like they haven't got enough of these bands. They've got millions of them. So do something different. Go and think of a 90s R&B song and make it into a band. Go and do a Drake song that's very difficult to do and bring it into a band thing. Go and do something which is different. Go and do a medley which makes someone really laugh and think that is hilarious. And then you become known for that song or that piece where you're just like, oh, there's this band, you know what they do? They do this thing, right? And it's hilarious because that's how bands are formed. So back in 2008, when I was playing in bands a lot, and I wasn't a singer, and we had a thing where we bought wireless packs, and it was like, right, we're gonna play, but we're gonna get out into the audience as much as possible. Now, everybody does that now, but back in the day, it was unheard of because you run out into the audience and everyone's running around, disguising the fact that you can't sing, and you become known for that. There's this band, they spend more time off the stage than they do on the stage. It's a thing. So you've got to be known for a couple of these things. Excuse me. And I think a big part of that comes down to your marketing and your decision of what can be slightly different. Excuse me. So, I hope that answers your questions, but when it comes to covers bands, if you're not sure, this is something you can hit me up with. You can send me a link to your band, you can send me videos, you can send me demos, but be prepared for me to have the same answer, which is stop being boring. Because that is the major thing that stops you from getting onto an agency's books. Stop being boring and stop doing the same as everybody else. Cool, next question. Next one. Oh, I like the start of this one. This one says, Damo, you fucking legend. Thank you very much. I have an audition coming up in a few weeks. Do you have any tips on smashing an audition? Huge thanks for all your content and help with musicians everywhere. James Hale. James, thank you very much. That's a very nice thing to say. So you have an audition coming up in a few weeks. Well, firstly, well done for giving me a shout weeks in advance and not, I've got an audition tomorrow, which does happen quite a lot. The key to auditions is preparation. The key to auditions is getting into the mindset of the person who's putting on the audition. So we put on auditions all the time. And whilst I was at BIM, we put on auditions all of the time. Your job is to think about what it is that the person auditioning wants. What do they want you to be like? What do you want to look like? What do you want to sound like? How much preparation can go into this? And again, a bit like the covers thing, not being boring. Don't say, do you know what I'm going to wear? I'm going to wear a slightly ill-fitted shirt and a pair of old jeans, and I'm going to turn up and I'm going to play the same old. Don't do that. Be interesting. Bring something to the party which is more than everybody else. So when you walk in, you want to be confident. Now, how are you going to be confident? Some of you guys are thinking, I rule the roost. I'm totally confident. While others of you might think, I'm not the most outgoing person. Well, confidence comes from your playing just as much as your personality. And if you want to be the most confident you can be, then the best thing you can do is not just learn the songs for the audition, but learn other things around it. So if you're going for an audition with a band and they've said, learn these 3 tracks, why not learn their entire back catalogue? I mean, we're musicians, that's what we do. We learn songs, it's work. So why not learn the entire back catalogue? Go and find songs on their SoundCloud, go and find songs on their Spotify and learn every single song. So when you turn up and you say, which one do you want to start with? And they say this song and you say, yeah, no problem. They say, by the way, I've learned all of your other songs. What's the first thing they're going to think? They're going to think, fucking hell, that's amazing. Well, you've learned all of our songs. Yeah, because I really like the band. I really want this. And then all of a sudden they're thinking, wow, he does want this. And then you say, well, would you fancy jamming some other song? All of a sudden you're in, you've gotten in. It's much better than just saying, yeah, I've learned the songs that you want, which, trust me, I know this sounds quite obvious, but I do auditions. When we started this company, I started auditions, I had auditions all of the time. And I was just so surprised. I'm still so shocked with how little work people put into auditions. Someone comes along that's put actual time and effort into an audition, smashes it, and gets the audition. And it never fails to shock me that people haven't put enough time and effort into learning songs properly. And, not just learning the notes, learning the feel, but the sounds. So when someone says, when it comes to the guitar sound, I've changed, I've done this because I wanted to get that. It's showing that you know your shit, that you've put the time and effort into it. Because when someone works for me, or as you'll agree, someone works for you, you want someone that's not going to be lazy. You want someone that's going to put the time and the effort into it. So be confident, and the way you get to be as confident as possible is because you're not learning something until you know it. you're learning something until you physically cannot play it wrong. You've played it that many times, and it takes weeks. So like I said, for a start, the fact that you've got weeks is good. So you should have a playlist on your iPhone, on your phone, with all the songs on that you just listen to. Nothing else, just that for the next couple of weeks. And when you've got a guitar in your hand, those are the songs you play again and again. And then go and find other stuff that they're looking for and give it to them on the day. Whether it's, if it's a covers band and you're auditioning 3 songs, just get in touch and just say, can I have the set list to have a look through it? And then they'll send you the set list, learn all of them. And then turn up and just say, yeah, I can do all of those, not a problem, I'm ready. And on the day, then you say, but if I don't get the gig and you need a dep, I know all of your stuff anyway, so I'm ready to jump in should that guy fuck up. And then the other thing, this is really, really crucial for me. What I love when I'm auditioning or when I look for, when I'm employing someone, there's a few words that I really love. I really love it when someone says, I want this. It's just so simple when someone says, I want this gig, because it makes me think, fuck yeah, that makes me feel, I want you to get this gig. I'm there for you. I just want you to just, do all the things that you need to do and it's yours. It's so simple of a way to just jump over someone else at an employment opportunity or auditions when you say, fuck, I'm excited, man. I really want this. I've put the work in, so if you can prove that you've put the work in and you're saying to someone, I want this gig, I want this opportunity, give me the opportunity to show you what I can do. It really does make people root for you more than someone turns up and just says, yeah, should we do this, and play and then go away again. So those are my tips, but don't forget to say, I want this. I think it's such a great way of starting an audition. Question number 3. Got my alma milky tea. I know you say that creating content online is key for bands, and when I was in a band, I found it easy to create content. However, my question for you is this. As a wannabe session player, what sort of content can I create in post which will boost my employment levels online? Mainly thinking Instagram with this one, as I'm a drummer. Ash Powell. Okay, so wannabe a session player, drummer, what sort of content can you create online? Now, as a drummer, it makes it slightly more difficult because obviously the microphone levels on cameras don't really pick up sound as well as if you're a guitarist or if you're a bass player. But in my head, that just means that in your local area, there'll be a lot more people making excuses. So if you're gonna make content, what I would do is if I were a drummer, what I would do is I would go and either buy some mics, some drum mics, which, let's face it, aren't expensive. You can buy a decent pair of, a set of drum mics for 50 quid off Tom Ann or Dolphin or something. So you can get some drum mics or borrow some and get your kit, get down to a local rehearsal room and actually find a way, learn about miking up your kit so that you can record it. And the reason why I would do this is because I would be making videos all of the time. I think Instagram is a really good way. There's a drum guy called Ash Sohn, who's like a very, very big drum guy over in the UK. I think he's the drummer for Strictly, Al? He's one of those. He does a lot of those sorts of TV shows where he's in the backing band. He is fucking phenomenal drummer, absolutely phenomenal. And I don't really follow that many musicians for the sake of the musicianship on my Instagram, but I follow him because every morning he'll have posted a video of him drumming for 30 seconds and it makes me feel good. And there is something, I answered this with someone the other day, there is something about drums and Instagram that go very, very well, more so than other instruments. I don't really know why that is. I think Instagram is if you look at the social media platform of Instagram, of where it's come from, it came from a photography background. It was a photography app of where photographers can store their photos, and it's grown and grown and grown over that time. And I think because of the tradition of that, what Instagram means is it really wants beauty, that's a big thing, and it wants sort of talent, those two things. And that's why you get people on Instagram who are just beautiful people and they've got 10,000 followers and you think, what do they do? It's just that they're very pretty, because people just like that. Or sometimes then you've got the other side to it, which is amazing talent. So I think when you look at that, putting it together, drums do work. There's something beautiful about watching the drums and having that kind of rhythmical side of playing. in a 30-second to a minute clip. So I think it does work well. There's a lot of people doing it, but not so much when you look at local areas. When you look at online, there's plenty. So what I would do is I would actually go and find a way of recording myself as a drummer. I'd go and buy or borrow 2 or 3 cameras, phones, GoPros, whatever you want that you can set up, and I would just learn very, very simple on iMovie and a way of recording drums, and I would literally record covers, and I would, and this is where it becomes key, I would look at the consistency over a period of time. So I'd be looking at this as a 5-year, 10-year plan. I wouldn't be looking at this as, can I make content and get it out there? I would be looking at this as a show. If you make a one-off show, great, fantastic, but you'll be forgotten about very quickly. So if you then say, no, every 3 days, every week, I'm gonna release another drum cover. Now, if, for example, the way to do this is if you can find a whole day, like a Sunday if you're not working, and you can book out a rehearsal room, set up and record 6, 7, 8, 9 drum covers, then you've got your month's worth of drum covers for that month. So it's not like you have to put loads and loads of money into it. It's not like you have to go and do another one every couple of days if you haven't got the time or the money to do that. So I'd make a bunch of drum covers. This is a lot of work, but you know, that's what this is. This is work. And then I would release them over a period of time on Instagram. I would put them on YouTube. I think YouTube is still a very, very good way of building an audience, but I would be looking at the geographical areas to start with as you start building your audience, like a ripple effect outwards. So Instagram is a very good way, especially if you're a drummer. If you are a guitarist and you're a bass player watching this and wanting to do the same thing, then there's no excuses. I literally would be making really good covers every 3 days. I'd do 3 a week, and I'd even say it to the audience of, that's what I do. I make 3 covers a week, and I post them on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, whenever you want to post them. And I would make sure that I wasn't just playing what's on the track. I would make it super exciting. I would say, this is my version of this track. So if you are going to play like the new Bruno Mars track, I'd find a track which is really, really exciting on the bass or the guitar or whatever it is, and then I would put my own spin on it, and I just make it more fun and exciting, so people go, fuck me, he's overplaying, but that's really fun and really exciting. Because there's this thing that when you go to music college, and don't get me wrong, this is an important trait, but when you go to music college, there's this thing of, you play for the track. Well, yeah, that's true, but if you're showing off, if you're doing something that's exciting, then just going as a piece is fucking dull. So I wouldn't do that. I'd go to town. I'd get all your best chops, all your best licks. I'd write some stuff to go in there, and I'd make it an exciting piece. Why not? It's your piece. It's you showing off. It's not you saying, look, I can play Billie Jean, because, that is not what this is about. This is about just inspiring people and making it interesting. So I would make it consistent. I'd be thinking about 3, 4, 5, 10-year plan of you doing this 3 times a week, and that way people can start to buy into it all of the time. My Facebook Live on a Wednesday has now got 3 times the engagement that it did when I started it 5 or 6 weeks ago, because people know that it's there. People are starting to get into the idea that Wednesday nights they come and chat to me on Facebook. So it takes time and you have to be patient, but if you're doing it regularly, it will start to build up. And make sure you're using those hashtags on Instagram. That's a big, big thing, and it starts to build up your audience and people become used to it. And now I get people on my Facebook, if I don't post a video on a day, I get people on my Facebook when it gets to 8 o'clock and they're saying, where's your video? And I'm like, all right, give me a chance. I'm doing something different tonight. I'm posting at 8 o'clock in the evening. But it's a really good sign for me when someone says, well, why haven't I seen a video from you today? They're demanding that the content comes through because they want it. So it's a good sign. So that's what I would do. Last question of the day. Hi Damo, I want to build my audience, but music isn't finished yet, and want to make sure everything is perfect before getting out there. Is there anything I can do to help grow my audience while I get my music finished? From Dave Etchells. There is a word in this. I'm just going to read this again, and this is really, really important, because this is a word that will fuck up your career absolutely royally time and time again. I'm just going to read that again. Hi Damo, I want to build my audience, but my music isn't finished yet, and I want to make sure everything is perfect before getting out there. That word, perfect, it fucking drives me mental. And I understand that when you're a creative, you want everything to be as best as it can be. The problem is, every day, this is not like sometimes, every single day, I am seeing people in music, in business, with social media, that are literally stopping their career because of the lack of pace, because of that word. It's got to be perfect. Now, we live in a society where everything is so fast-paced, and yeah, you want everything to be a high standard. I absolutely get that. And if you have the ability of churning out content and making something fantastic and making it perfect, but still keeping stuff going through again and again and again, fantastic. But that's very, very difficult. Personally, I believe that you shouldn't. I believe what you should be looking at is going for 80% and getting that content out 3 times as much, because people want to see you, they want to hear you. And that word, when it comes to, I had a conversation yesterday with someone who said, can you have a look at my socials? And I said, the first thing I said was, you haven't put a video out for 6 months. 6 months. And he said, yeah, I just don't want to put out content which is detrimental and be one of those guys that just plays and sings in their bedroom. And I was like, no, but in doing that, you've put nothing out. So no one knows who you are. So you don't want to do one thing, so you haven't done anything at all. And it's that idea of, I want it to be so good that I'm not going to do anything at all, that really fucks me off. So this idea of the word perfect is something that you've got to be very, very careful of. Everybody wants their content to be perfect. I want to make the perfect video. But at the same point, I'm also realistic, because I need to make videos every single day to engage you guys, to keep you on this, because if I leave it a week or 2 weeks while I'm trying to make the perfect video, you'll get bored, you'll go and find someone else to watch. So this idea of perfect is something you've got to be very, very careful of. So is there things that you can do? Yeah, there's so many cool things that you can do. We live in such an amazing age. We are in a time where you can record on your phone, and yes, you want to put out good content, but yesterday I watched a video of James Bay performing a song outside. No clever microphones, it was just him, his guitar, with probably an iPhone, maybe a vlogging camera. It was not anything like what Al's got filming right now. It was just something you can carry around and you can film. And it was fucking brilliant. Why was it brilliant? Because he's brilliant. Simple as that. Because he can pull it off live. And that's the key. Whether you're in a bedroom, whether you're in an office, I mean, look at this. Like, this is not exciting. This is an office. This is an office building that we have, 10 people that work from this office. And, in order to try and make it interesting, I'm putting more stuff on the wall. But look at the background. This is not the most exciting video that you will see. But it's not perfect, but it's bringing you value, hopefully. And that's what you've got to do. And people, when they buy into your voice, when they buy into your playing, when they buy into your music, that's what it is. They bought into you and you're playing. So give them what they want. They want to see more of you. Like today, this. First thing I've got a t-shirt and a CD from this band, Suffer No Fools. I bought in automatically. I'm like, what a bloody lovely thing to do. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to go and play this. I'm going to go and talk to them. I'm going to go and engage with them. I'm going to wear the t-shirt. I've bought into it. Now, the next thing I want to see is, I want to see on their Facebook them go, here's a live version of our track, or here's a new song, or I want to see them doing stuff. That's what I want. And it's the perfection that's letting you down. So is there anything you can do to grow your audience? Yes. You can make things which aren't perfect whilst you're finishing off your album. You can say, I'm really excited, guys. I've got this emotion. I'm really excited that I've written a song and I want to show you. It's only a chorus at the moment, but I really want to show you. Like, for me, who isn't you, that's watching you, is going to go, oh, that's quite exciting. I want to hear that new chorus. And you play me the new chorus and I go, oh, that's nice. And you're in my head, and off I go, and I go about my day again. So is there things you can do? Yes, you can take people on your journey. You can show them your emotion. You can say, this is what I'm doing today. I'm excited about this today. I've got a track which is nearly finished. And I don't want to show you the whole thing because it's not finished yet, but I want to show you the bit that's done because that's exciting. You can still take people on your journey rather than what musicians do, which is get everything finished and go, ta-da, done. No journey, just finished. Ta-da, done. So I would much prefer to be taken on that journey with you, as would the entire world, because that's the world that we live in. And then if it's not perfect, we will forgive you for that, because just seeing you perform and doing your thing to a high level, obviously, is something that excites us. So just be careful with that word perfect, because we all want our stuff to be perfect. But if it's slowing you down, it is unacceptable. That's my advice for that. So good. I think that's it. So thank you very much for watching. The biggest thing for me, I don't do this for money. It's not about money. This is all about engaging, building relationships, get in contact with you guys. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the YouTube, that's a big thing for me. That would be amazing. This week, Facebook Live, Wednesdays, every 7 o'clock for about half an hour. You get to ask me questions. We get to hang out. We get to chat about stuff. If you want to contact me, Twitter is proving the best way in general at the moment. In fact, in general, if you want to contact me, Twitter, you go straight through. It pops up on my phone. I'll get it straight away. We can have a chat. Otherwise, have a good week. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.